G'day, I'm Brandon Gaskell.
Hi, my name is Caden Hogan.
My name is Isaiah Weber.
I'm Ty Jenkins.
My name is Kyle McRoy.
My name is Cade Myers.
Okay, my name is Gustavo Push.
My name is Kaeo Cibiano.
My name is Hugo Jansson. Hello everyone, my name is Hugo Jansson. I'm a CrossFit athlete who participated in the 2023 CrossFit Games this year as a 16 to 17 year old. I've invited every one of the 10 on the field for the boys 16 to 17 division. One of them didn't respond, but we are 9 here today covering our experience from the games and how you become one of the fittest on earth.
I'm a 2-time CrossFit Games athlete, second fittest in the 14-15 division in 2021, and then 8th fittest last year, 2023, in the 16-17 division. I'm from Gretna, Nebraska. My local box is CrossFit Kinesis.
I competed in the games in 21 and 23, and I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I work out at Think Tank.
I'm from Sydney, Australia. I train at CrossFit Geo. 17. That's about it. It's not much else.
Got into it when I was like 11, just because that's what my brother was doing. My brother was just doing it as a way to train for sports and just everything like that. So I thought, hey, it's a pretty cool thing. Maybe it can help me with my sports. So that's why I originally got into it, was just like to try to help out with, which I was playing baseball at the time and football. So try to help out with both of those. And then I kind of fell in love with it a little bit, and then just kept doing it. And then I realized you could compete in it. And I was like, okay, I want to try to give this a shot. And then, yeah, the competing career kind of took off from there.
I started because my sister she got into CrossFit, and she just wanted to pull me along. Around that time, I started getting into some body weight. I started doing some apps on my phone, which was like abs in 30 days and biceps in 30 days. So I was doing them in my bedroom. So I started to get some, body weight strength up. My pressing got pretty alright over, it was probably about 3 months I did that. And then I started to go to CrossFit. The first probably year of training for me is pretty blurry, which probably tells a lot, which probably says a lot about how I respected the sport at the time. I still came in, but I would look at the workout in the morning of the class, and I'd be like, oh, it's a lot of cardio, I'll give it a miss today, but I started to really enjoy it when around the time of COVID, when the first wave, or it would have been the second wave of COVID, especially in Sydney. It was the end of 2021, and I started to get really invested into it because I started filling my day with it. I bought a barbell, bought some weights, so I was doing it down in my garage, and I used it a lot for mental health reasons. There was a lot of things going on in my life at that time, and I was in the process of moving schools and all of that. I was using CrossFit as a crutch, so that's how I fell in love with it. It got to the point where I couldn't live without it.
I got into CrossFit because my dad was doing it, and then I play soccer and I do wrestling. I did soccer before, and I'm doing wrestling now.
So I'm Ty Jenkins. I'm from Branson, Missouri in the United States. I attend a local box called Table Rock CrossFit. I've competed in CrossFit for a little over 3 years now. I've made 3 trips to the games, and 1 was in the 14 to 15 division, 2 were in the 16 to 17 division, and I won in all 3 trips.
I train at CrossFit 970. I started CrossFit at the end of 2021, and I'm 17 years old now, and I live in Windsor, Colorado in the United States.
I am a CrossFit athlete. I live in São Paulo, in Brazil. The name of my city is Indaiatuba, and I represent G7 CrossFit, and I am 18 years old.
Yeah, so this is really interesting. So I started CrossFit actually on a mission trip to Honduras. A friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go to Honduras to go help build some houses for some of the community there, and went out there. It was a super cool opportunity. Well, I didn't know that CrossFitters visited boxes when they traveled, and so he really wanted to go to this CrossFit gym in Honduras, P1 CrossFit. We went there. That was the first time I had ever done CrossFit, and I fell in love with it. I was like, I totally want to do this now. So we got home in November of 2021, and I started going to the CrossFit gym that he went to, and fell in love with it.
I started my sport life in the swimming. So when I was very young, I started swimming because my mom said that we needed to swim, like to learn. If we are like drowning, we have to learn how to swim to survive. So it was a surviving thing. And after that, I started fighting like martial arts. So I did taekwondo and jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, for a while. And at first I didn't like CrossFit, but my brother was already doing CrossFit and my mom too. And at this time my brother started competing CrossFit. And it was the same year that the CrossFit Games announced the teenager division. And he was 15 years old, so he got like the beginning of the division. And he started competing. And I was like watching him competing, but it wasn't fun for me. I was just watching like a guy weighting some liftings and running around the corner. It was like, no, that's not fun. And in 2018, he classified to the CrossFit Games on the 16-17 division, and I went to Madison to watch him. And when I was watching him, like it was like almost a relationship with CrossFit. I fell in love in CrossFit, and I started like to like it. And when we come back to Brazil, I started training CrossFit, and I say I want to compete to the CrossFit Games like my brother did. So when I was like 13 years old, I started to train to go to the CrossFit Games.
It's crazy being the CrossFit Games. Winning workouts is more crazy than that, you know? So I'm really happy. I'm really proud of me because I train a lot to come here. So that's it. Thank you e tamo junto, família.
I have a sports background kind of like you, so I played baseball and football, and I swam growing up. And then right before lockdown in like 2019, my dad was telling me that like I should get into CrossFit because it would help me be stronger for baseball. And so I started doing CrossFit just to get better at my other sports. And then lockdown happened. My baseball season got canceled. My swim season got canceled. Football season was weird. It wasn't the same. And so then I was just like, when we were stuck at home all the time, I could do CrossFit in the garage. And so being able to do CrossFit in the garage, I started to fall in love with it. I still hadn't competed yet, but then on the backside of the lockdown, in 2021, there was a guy in my gym who's now my coach that just told me I should give the Open a go. And I didn't even know there was a teen division at the time. And then I did the Open my first year, and it was just enough to move on. And so then I decided if I was going to compete in this, I was going to give it my all, and then just progressively got fit enough and barely made quarters, barely made it past the age group qualifier to the games, and then had 4 months from semifinals to the games to train that first year. And then after that, I was like, I love this, and I'm going to keep doing it.
I have a background in hockey, ice hockey here in Sweden, which is a rather large sport. I played hockey for at least 9-10 years, doing my last hockey game in the Swedish Championships final for the ages U16 in 2022. After that, I went over to CrossFit more seriously, but I think I started CrossFit 1 or 2 years earlier, with like a few times, because I thought it was a cool sport. I had seen it on like the internet and wanted to try it out, because I always thought the like physical part of the hockey training was very fun. I quit hockey because it got a bit too much and everyone was just moving away to sign a contract for a high school team, and I did not want to do that because I have so many other interests. So I went for CrossFit instead, and almost like right away wanted to get to the games. You know, I've always liked other sports. I ski in the winter, played soccer, played tennis, played most sports when I was a little kid, and like in my spare time and holidays and stuff, I usually do something physical, like running, skiing, biking.
Yeah, so my dream before I started CrossFit was to become a professional bodybuilder. So that dream came about when I was 12 years old. I started training at the local rec center. So I trained there for about 3 years, just really training hard for that. So I had kind of a knowledge about the basics of weightlifting and health and stuff, but none of the CrossFit knowledge. So that's kind of where my fitness journey began when I was 12 years old. I was really passionate about that. That's kind of where my diet started, was eating super healthy, super clean, and then realized that I really did not want to get into steroids. And so then that's kind of where that shift began to happen in November of 2021. Realized that I needed to start doing something different.
My name is Hugo. I'm a 3-time CrossFit Games athlete. I coach and run and work out at Kumana CrossFit, and I am 17 years old. I was basically born into fitness. My dad has been in the CrossFit industry for over 20 years now. When I was 3 years old, he opened up our first CrossFit gym, which was CrossFit East Oahu, and that's when I lived in Hawaii. And we ran that gym for 8 years, I believe. And I was in a gym, in a CrossFit gym, from basically 3 years old all the way to 12 years old. And then that's when we moved to Texas. And from that 3 to 12, we didn't do anything besides be in the gym and work out. We did a little bit of martial arts on the side. And even I remember just like 2 and 3 years old, that was just being in a personal training studio before my dad even found CrossFit. My mom found CrossFit. And then when I was 3 years old, maybe I was a little older, I think I was 3, 4, or 5 years old, something like that. That's when they found CrossFit, and that's when they opened up their gym. And that's all I really known. So like I never played football, I never played basketball. Maybe I should have. There's some debate about that. Now that I'm 17 years old and the options are I have less options now. Maybe I can do that later on, but I mean, I have less time to experiment with other sports now. I did a little bit of martial arts when I was a lot younger. I do archery, a little bit of archery now. And if anything, if I wasn't doing CrossFit, I'd do football. But I mean, I've never like been pushed that far. I've always like stayed so like motivated, and so like I've always pressed and pushed forward in CrossFit. Like I never wanted my progress to go down because I want to play football now.
My name's Cade Myers. I am 17 currently. I live in Anderson, South Carolina, USA. Been to the games twice, once in 2021, once in 2023. Different age groups, 14-15 age group and 16-17. Both were my like second year of that. And then I trained at CrossFit Electric City. I played a few sports when I was real young, like 4, 5, 6, young, just trying to figure out what I want to do. And I played baseball for a long time, 6 years, I think. And then just stopped playing baseball, needed something to do. So one of my sister's friends just recommended CrossFit to me. And we looked up a gym. I was 11 years old. It was 2017, I think. So I was 11 when I started. Looked up a gym and I went and started. Did the Kid Fit class. Did one workout a week. Played dodgeball all the time and stuff. This is a kind of a funny story. I never necessarily was like, saw it and I'm like, oh, I want to go. I mean, who wouldn't want to go? But it was just never on my mind about it. And then in 2021, the Open happened and I was 15 at the time. I was in the 14-15 age group. And we finished the Open and I found out I was in like 14th place, I want to say. I was top 20 and they took 20 that year. So I was like, well, shoot. And I worked out 1 hour every day leading up to the Open. Every once in a while would be an extra like strength piece or something like that. But it was never like what I do now. And it was like, well, I got a chance at the game, so I guess I better start training. But that's when I started, and it's just history now.
No, 21 season I was alone, and then right after that I went with think tank.
I'm trained under Games athlete Kyle Kasperbauer, or previous Games athlete Kyle Kasperbauer. I've been going to Kinesis since like 2019 or 2018. I'm not sure, but I was just doing like the kids class, like kind of the class they have with the teens and like below. So Kyle actually didn't coach that class at all. It was just a trainer named Easton Meadows used to be at my gym. He moved, but so yeah, I was just doing the teens class for a while, not really knowing what to expect. And then after the Open and quarterfinals that year in 2021, after placing pretty high, like I think I finished second in the quarterfinals, Kyle was like, hey, I want you to train with me, because he was going to the games in 2021 for his age group, which I think was 35 to 39. So he was going to the games, I qualified for the games already. He's like, hey, I want you to train with me for the games in 2021. So he kind of took me under his wing there, and then we kind of went from there. And then he retired after 2021. So then he kind of took more of a coaching role towards me and kind of just programming our Kinesis Compete kind of towards my weaknesses, and took more of less of like the training aspect of it and more of like focusing on me and what I needed. So I was really appreciative of that.
Yeah, okay. So I have my coach, but he live in a different city than me. So he live in a different state than I live. So like 5 times a year I go there and I stay there like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's like a camp, you know? And I stay there like to prepare for my competitions and something like that. But I also have like a physiotherapist. I have like a whole team behind me that help me to improve my performance.
So from the spring 2022, when I really got into CrossFit, I did not have any coach. I was doing the classes in the gym like once a day at first, and then the summer break I had more time to spend on CrossFit, and I was signing up for Mayhem Athlete for a few months and got into like a bigger volume of training, but I would still be doing the classes every day almost, and just programming myself a bit, coming up with fun workouts and skill practices, because I had a lot of skills I needed to practice. Like 1 year ago I started doing prepared programming, so another like camp program, and it was great leading up to the Prepared Classic, which was a competition, my first individual competition in December 2022. It was like an RX individual competition, and from there I just continued with the prepared programming all the way leading up to the games. So like 1 or 2 weeks after the semifinals for the age groups, Camilla Salomonsson Hellman was just helping me out the last months before the games. I haven't had any coach before, and I still don't have any real coach, because of many reasons, but I have a lot of people just helping me out. Sebastian Kask has helped me for a few months with just helping my body move as it should.
In 2019 is when like we actually found an actual CrossFit coach, and then he started coaching us, giving us a program to do, and in that scenario we weren't coaching ourselves. So I have a younger brother that just competed, and then we have an older brother. I have an older brother that competed the last 2 years. Yes, we do. A lot of our training is pretty much the same. There's always the main workout, the main Metcon we try to do together. There's the main strength we'll do together, and then of course there's some other movements that he needs to train more than there's other movements I only need to train. But for the most part, we're trained together. Yeah.
My coach is just like the coach of the whole gym, Electric City, and he writes up all of our programming. And I've never followed like Mayhem or any of them, like the actual programming at camps, but my coach writes it up every morning. We walk in the gym, and there's already like the class workout written, and he's like, well he'll pull out the whiteboard, write down his thoughts, and it's nice. I like that, because like, say, oh, I did something and I'm crazy sore in one spot, then it's like he can change that and be like, oh, okay, we don't need to be doing X today, you know. So it's nice, but he's always written all of my stuff that I do.
I did that whole first year almost with my own programming. I started out doing the class gym WODs, and then realized that I was going to have to do some more if I really wanted to take this seriously. So I did the gym once a day kind of thing from November till the Open. I took 8th in the Open in the 14-15 division, and then I realized this was something that I could really be good at. So after that, I started training twice a day for that whole rest of the season on my own. I started doing HWPO's online programming for a little while, and that went pretty good. That carried me all the way through semis, and then took 11th in semis, missing the games by 1 spot. So
I'm on Star Strength and Performance. It's a very, very big performance, like a CrossFit elite athlete program run by Luke Starr, who was a multiple time regional team athlete, and very successful individual athlete as well. Went to the games a couple times as a team, and has a lot of experience in the sport. He opened one of the earliest CrossFit gyms in Australia, a very, very big CrossFit brand in Australia very early on in CrossFit days. So he just has so much experience. So I worked very closely with him throughout my whole, throughout this year.
For 2 years of my competing career, I did Mayhem athlete programming, and I really liked it. Great programming, helped me bury a lot of weaknesses early on. I train with a female games athlete, Christine Kohlenbrander, here in Missouri, and so last year she made the switch to Hard Work Pays Off programming, and so because I think training with someone that's going to push you every day is super important, I made the switch with her, and I did Hard Work Pays Off this last year. But, I mean, throughout all 3 years, I've had the same coach. His name's Carl. He's awesome, and he, no matter what programming I've been doing, takes it, modifies it, makes it better for me, and then we do it, as well as any sort of strategizing or anything like that he's in charge of. And so he's been there. He was the one that back 4 years ago saw me in the gym and was like, hey, you should do the open. And so ever since we've been working together, and it's worked out pretty good.
Feels really good. Just 3 long years of work. And ever since I won the first one, this was kind of the goal. I've always looked up to like Down Pepper, and that's what he did as a teenager. But it feels good. It's kind of all I got right now.
We'll wake up usually around 4 in the morning.
I'm trying to get in that like 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day.